The United States didn't lose the World Cup because of one bad night. They lost because Belgium exposed every weakness that had been hiding in plain sight. After topping their group, winning a knockout match, and giving American fans genuine hope, the dream ended in a crushing 4-1 defeat. But here's the shocking part. The scoreline wasn't even the biggest problem. So what really happened? And why did one of the most exciting American teams in years fall apart when it mattered most? Let's get one thing straight. This wasn't a disaster from start to finish. In fact, the U.S. arrived in the round of 16 full of confidence. They finished top of their group, beat Bosnia and Herzegovina to reach the last 16, and scored 11 goals, the highest total in a single World Cup campaign in U.S. men's history. For the first time in years, Americans weren't just watching the World Cup. They genuinely believed their team could make a deep run. Then Belgium reminded everyone why knockout football is a completely different game. The warning signs came almost immediately. Belgium were on the front foot from the opening whistle and forced goalkeeper Matt Friese into a big save inside the first minute before Charles de Ketelaere opened the scoring in the 9th minute. Yes, Malik Tillman produced a brilliant free kick to make it 1-1, but the celebration barely had time to finish before Belgium scored again just 2 minutes later. That quick response completely changed the momentum. And that's the first lesson. Elite teams don't panic. Average teams celebrate the equalizer. Great teams punish you while you're still celebrating. Belgium did exactly that. But here's where the game was really lost. The biggest difference wasn't talent. It was decision-making. Belgium didn't need 20 chances to score 4 goals. They waited for mistakes, and the U.S. gave them exactly what they wanted. The clearest example came early in the second half. A misjudged decision by Matt Friese outside his penalty area gifted Hans Vanaken an easy finish into an empty net, stretching Belgium's lead to 3-1. Against weaker teams, you might get away with that. Against one of Europe's top sides, it's game over. Now let's talk about something that might upset a few people. Did the U.S. rely too much on Christian Pulisic? Before you head to the comments, this isn't blaming him. Far from it. Pulisic has carried American expectations for years. The problem is that Belgium knew it too. Whenever he got on the ball, there were defenders closing him down, cutting off passing lanes, and forcing someone else to beat them. That's what elite international teams do. They don't just stop your best player. They make sure your second and third options have to decide the game. Pulisic also left the match after suffering a leg injury, adding to the team's problems. And that brings us to the biggest gap between these two teams. Depth. When Belgium needed fresh legs, they could bring on players who compete at the highest level every week. The U.S. is improving, but the drop-off from the starting 11 to the bench is still noticeable. World Cups aren't won with 11 players. They're won with 23 players ready for the biggest stage. There's also a reality many American fans don't like hearing. Soccer isn't like the NFL. You can't simply outspend the competition. The U.S. isn't trying to beat 31 other teams. It's trying to beat the entire football world. Countries like Belgium have spent generations developing players through professional academies, where children learn tactical awareness from a very young age. That football culture can't be created overnight. But here's the part many people are missing. This World Cup wasn't a failure. It was progress. The United States topped its group, won a knockout match, set a new program record for goals scored in a single World Cup, and generated unprecedented excitement among home fans. Mauricio Pochettino also recorded the most World Cup wins of any U.S. men's national team coach. That's not a collapse. That's a foundation. The truth is, Belgium didn't end America's dream. They showed America the next level. The gap isn't impossible to close, but it is real. If the U.S. learns from this defeat, continues developing young talent, and keeps sending players to compete against the world's best every week, this tournament may be remembered not as the end of a dream, but as the beginning of one. Because World Cups aren't won by believing you're ready. They're won by proving it. And after this tournament, the United States knows exactly what it still has to prove.